welcome to the Adelaide Cottage podcast. My name is Shauna, and I'm recording from Buffalo, New York. Welcome if you're a returning viewer. Thank you for coming back to check out the podcast, and if you're new, a huge welcome, and I hope you enjoy it. This podcast is mostly about knitting, hand-dyeing yarn, sewing, and a little bit of crochet. Sometimes I have some quilting segments, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So I figured it was a perfect time to podcast because both of my boys are sleeping out tonight. One of them is at their grandparents' house with their little cousin, and then my oldest is at my sister-in-law's house with the older cousins. And my husband is working all day and most of the evening. So, oh my goodness. I was like, okay, so I can clean my craft space, I can podcast, I can knit, I can sew some project bags, package some orders, watch some TV, drink coffee and tea. What else am I going to do? Maybe go to Joann Fabrics, Hobby Lobby. You guys understand, I think. But I have 2 finished objects to show you this week. Super excited. They are pairs of socks. I was bitten by the sock bug, you guys, and I am loving it. What comes along with learning to knit socks is needing all of this self-striping sock yarn. I have placed a Knit Picks order for some Felici and just got that in the mail today. And I'm looking at all different indie dyers. It's fun. So let me get started. So first of all, there are 2 giveaways that I need to announce winners for, which is very exciting. And another thing I wanted to mention, if you wanted to follow me on social media, you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Adelaide Cottage, and I also have an Etsy shop called the same thing. So at the end of the episode, if you forget, it's all listed there for you at the very end. So let me announce the winners first, and then we'll get into some knitting. So there was a 2K giveaway, so for 2,000 YouTube subscribers, there was a prompt in the Ravelry group to just simply let me know what you might like me to do differently on my podcast, or add to it or subtract from it, just kind of for my own personal growth to make my podcast more enjoyable for the viewers. So I first of all, just want to say thank you to everybody that replied and left a comment. I feel like every single one of them was positive and so super sweet. Many people said I have a calm, soothing voice, and they like to listen to me when it's time to wind down, which is really, really awesome. Just very, very thoughtful. So thank you all for leaving a comment. And there were a few things that I would like to add to the podcast, so I'm going to start filtering those things in as we go. So the winner of the 2K giveaway, who wins a skein of Hue Loco yarn in the Grocery Girls colorway, I think it was lot B, is post number 80. There were 80 posts including mine, and I decided before I drew a winner from random.org that if it landed on number 1, which was my post, I would redraw, but it didn't. So it was post number 16, which is CL Bigar 30. Her name is not on Ravelry, but her username is CL Bigar 30. And she wanted me to possibly show my needles during an episode and kind of do like a comparison between all my needle sets. So that's definitely something that I'm going to do. Maybe next time I podcast, I will, at the end, kind of show what needles I have and let you know what I think of each one. So congratulations contact me via Ravelry with your name and address, and I'll get your prize out to you as soon as possible. Next is the lovely Mina Phillip, who is the host of the Knitting Expat podcast, if you don't already know. Very graciously donated her Snow Day shawl pattern to a lucky winner. So Mina would like to donate also one of her new sock club patterns. You get, I believe, 7 of her sock patterns in this this kit that you purchase on Ravelry, and she very sweetly donated one to the Adelaide Cottage podcast to give away to one of you guys. So head over to the Ravelry group, join. You have to be a member to win, and there will be a prompt there for you to just leave a comment to be eligible to win the prize. So for the Snow Day shawl, there were 49 posts, and the winner is post number 33, and their username is Waipahu, Waipahu, and the prompt there was to let me know which of Mina's patterns you love the most, and many people wrote multiple patterns because her patterns are awesome. But the winner chose the Vita shawl. That was her favorite, and she also posted a picture of her version of it that she knit up, so that was really cool to see. So congratulations, get in contact with me, and I will give your Ravelry name to Mina, and she will forward you the pattern as soon as she can. She just welcomed a sweet little baby girl into the world, if you don't already know, so just please be patient if it takes a few days. Okay, so knitting. The first thing I want to show you are my In the Garden socks. I showed one of these socks on the last episode, and I have since finished the second one. So here they are. Like I said, bitten by the sock bug. It's so fun, you guys. Why am I so late to the party? So these were knit up in Adelaide Cottage yarn in the Garden colorway. This is on the Marion MCN base. I cast on 56 stitches with a US size 0 needle, magic loop. And at first I wanted these to be shorties, so I knit a very short cuff. It's not even an inch. Now I wish it was longer, but that's okay. So it's just a 2x2 ribbed cuff, and then a fish lips kiss heel, and then a grafted toe. So yeah, that's fun. But I did notice with the magic loop that I'm getting this ridge here. I don't know if that's something, I try to pull tight, when I switch needles, but maybe I'm not pulling tight enough. It's like that on both sides too. So maybe it just takes practice to master that. But and then here's the other one. I really like these. They fit me really well. They're soft, and I like the colorway a lot. So that's a finished object. I can't believe I finished a pair of socks that fit me. It's so exciting. Okay, let's see how much yarn I have left over from that project. I forgot to weigh my cake to see how much I used, but this is what's left. There we go. And for those, I used my Knit Pro Zings on 32-inch cord. This is a fixed circular. Yeah, and then I use this cute little project bag that a friend made me. So those are off the needles. Now I can turn the rest of that cake of yarn into mini skeins to give to people. I like when I do swaps with people, or even just send like a friendship package. I like to include at least one mini. They're always nice to have. Okay, so the second finished object are my 3.5-year-old son Evan's Pokemon socks. How cute are these, you guys? I didn't make sure that the stripes matched, obviously. He doesn't really care about that. But I did do contrast cuffs and toes, not heels. However, it looks like I did a contrast heel because the black stripe just landed there. So half the heel is black, but yeah. Super fun. He loves them. I think I talked about this colorway before. The yarn is by London House Yarns. I just want to make sure my hair's not on the microphone making all kinds of noise. I'm soft-spoken, so I wear a microphone for your convenience. So here's the cake. I feel like it's getting blown out. There we go. That's the cake of yarn. Super fun colorway. And I just did, oh, I forgot to mention in the last pattern, it's just a plain vanilla sock. And I did the same for these with the fish lips kiss heel. I did a 2x2 ribbed cuff in just Deborah Norville black and size 0 US DPNs, Knit Pro Zings, and I did 15 rows for the cuff. And then, how many for the leg? Oh, I just measured in inches for the leg and foot. So 3¼ inches for the leg from the bottom of the cuff down, and then I started the fish lips kiss heel, and then I knit from the back of the heel 5¼ inches, and then started the toe. So they fit him really nicely, and there's a little bit of room to grow. He's growing fast, so I wanted to make them a little bit big. So he's got about a 1/2 inch on the end of his foot that just kind of hangs off, but I didn't want them to get too tight on him, right away. So those were really fun to knit. I'm excited about them. But this basically, if you're familiar with Pokemon, this is basically the Pokeball. They're red, black, and white, and then all of these kind of neon pastel-y colors represent all the Pokemon characters. So like Pikachu is yellow. Oh my gosh. I know them all, but I'm blanking right now. My older son talks about all the characters all the time. So those are done. That was a very fun project. I just can't believe myself. I'm all over the place with these socks. I just want to knit all the socks. So now I have to knit my 9-year-old Aiden a pair just like it. And I have enough yarn. I weighed it after I finished these, and it only used 20 grams out of 100, so I'm more than okay, as long as I do contrasting cuffs and toes, just like these ones. And I think for Aiden's, I'm gonna try to match the stripes up a little bit better. I didn't do it at all with these, but I think I'll do that for his. So yeah, that is being housed in my Fringe Supply field bag. So before I show you the next project, Valentine's Day has passed, and usually my husband Jason and I don't really exchange with each other. Usually he does surprise me with a little something, whether it be we go out to dinner or he gives me flowers or a card, whatnot. But we really try to focus on the kids and make it fun for them, because to me I don't want to offend anybody, but I always called it kind of like a greeting card holiday. I don't want to say any brand names, but yeah, it's not like a birthday or Christmas to me anyway. But this year I scored. In the morning, both boys woke up and came to me with a bouquet of flowers, and then Jason was behind them with one and a card and some Reese hearts, because those are my favorite. I love Reese. So yeah, they surprised me with that, which was lovely, and I'm like, oh great, this is so sweet. You guys are such gentlemen. And then my husband's like, well, that's not it. Get dressed. We're going out for breakfast. So we went out for breakfast, and then he was driving, and I'm like, well, where are we going now? Aren't we going home? He was driving in the opposite direction of our house. And he pulled into the Joann Fabrics parking lot. I have to say, he is the bestest. He just reached for anything. As soon as we parked, he reached for anything that he could find to write on, it happened to be one of my yarn labels. It was in my van for some reason. And he wrote this on it. What? I know. It's ridiculous. I was like, hun, we do not need to spend $100 in Joann Fabrics. And he's like, you've been, really good. You haven't been there in a few weeks, which was true. That's really good for me. For a while, I was there like every other day. It's really sad when I say it out loud. Oh, well. And I'm like, oh, well, are you going to wait out here? Because he never goes in Joann Fabrics with me. It just takes a long time, and he doesn't want to be in there. And he's like, no, I'm coming with you. He's like, I carved out 2.5 hours of my day to walk around with you and be interested. How sweet is he? Seriously. So I wasn't going to put him through misery like that. We did go in, and I tried to make it fun for him. And I'm like, well, why don't I make you... Craft-wise, I literally have everything that I could want or need right now. I'm blessed to be able to say that, I know. But for every holiday or birthday, all that I've asked for is craft supplies or yarn or, sewing notions or whatever. And that's what people get me because that's what they know I love. Lately, I just haven't wanted to buy clothes or makeup or anything like that. I want things to make, my hobbies more enjoyable for me. So I'm like, I do not need $100. Thank you, but I do not need that much. I'm like, why don't we pick out some fleece so that I can make you a hunting camp blanket. And so he did. He went through all the fleece and picked out this camo print, and he's like, because I made him a hunting quilt. I don't know if you guys remember. I posted it on Instagram using the quilt as you go method. And he really liked it, but I accidentally might have made a baby crib size quilt. And we didn't realize that until he went hunting with all the guys in his family, and he tried to pull the quilt over his arms and shoulders, and most of his feet and calves were hanging out. He's like, hun, can you add anything to it? I'm like, no, it's kind of just the way it is. Maybe it'll just have to be a decoration. That was the first quilt I've ever made. And I don't know how I got my measurements wrong, but I did. So I ended up making him a hunting fleecy blanket, and I put batting on the inside of it so that it's super warm, and I doubled the batting layers. So just one of those, you put the backing down right side down, and then you put, the fleece backing right side down, and then you put the batting on top of it, and then you put the top of, the top piece of fleece over that right side up, and then I just cut like 2 inches all around the whole blanket, like 2-inch strips, and then knotted them together. I knotted the top strip to the bottom strip. I'll try to insert a photo so that you can see what I did, but he really likes it, and I made it ginormous so that it's super big and cozy for him. So we did that, and then we went to, I got some fabric, which, let me see if yes, I do have it. I would like to make some springy project bags for the shop and for myself. So I picked out this fabric, which reminds me of spring because of the flowers and all the gardens being started. I love it. Homegrown, local. And then this as a contrasting bottom, or the inside, I'm not really sure yet. I think I'm going to make drawstring bags out of this fabric. So keep an eye out on Instagram for those to arrive in the shop. So we got that, and then we went to the yarn aisle, and he's like, oh my gosh, aisles and aisles of yarn, what are you going to do? And I'm like, well, most of it's acrylic, I don't really knit with acrylic, but there is sock yarn, and I'm a sock knitter now. So we went to the Patton's Croy section, and they have Deborah Norville, and he picked out some sock yarn for himself. Oh my gosh. When you like say things and you're being recorded, so you're not sure if it sounds right? That's what's happening. If it's even a word. So this is kind of part of stash enhancement, but I wanted to show you, what? I'll show you the rest of what we got when I do stash enhancement. I'm just going to show you what I cast on already, just so that I can keep it a little organized for you. So this is being housed in my beautifully made Anne of Green Gables project bag by Sarah of Lovesock Wool. There's her pull tab, which is super cute. And he picked out for himself the Patton's Croy socks stripes. It's called the Blue Striped Rag. Yeah, so I already had one of these at home because Evan picked this out a long time ago for himself to have socks made out of it, but I didn't know how to knit socks at the time. So I still had the one, and we still got 2 more just so that I can still make Evan socks eventually. But so I cast on, like you do, plain vanilla sock again. And for his, I did 60 stitches for him on US size 0 DPNs, and these are my Knitter's Pride Cubics wooden DPNs. And I really love this colorway. I love how it's knitting up. The gray in the background, actually all the yarn is pretty heathered, and especially the gray in the background, it pops out to me. Here's the other side, and then I have my little friendship cookie progress keeper that I talked about on the last episode from the Gnome Knitter. She made it, and it was gifted to me by one of my friends, Emily. So this is a 2x2 rib. 25 rows, I believe I did, of the ribbing. And he wants them kind of long, like dress socks, so I think I'll knit another 1.5 inches or so, and then start a fish lips kiss heel. So this is what I have left of the first ball of yarn, and then I have the other one still. So I'm enjoying that. You guys, I can see how and why sock knitting is so addicting. And I talked a little bit about it before, why it took me so long. I was knitting cardigans and lacy shawls before I knit socks. And a lot of people have messaged me and told me that they're kind of intimidated about, with socks too. The magic, I think, in my opinion, is finding your recipe. And by recipe, I kind of mean a gauge swatch. And in order to get a gauge swatch for a sock, which is, it covers, it's round, so you have to kind of knit most of the sock to figure out your gauge. That's the unfortunate part. But I was at first knitting on needles that were too big, casting on too many stitches, and then I just kind of worked my way down to a size 0. I'm a loose knitter, and that's just what I use. So I mentioned to my cousin Dana the other night we had a knit night. I told her, I'm like, well, sometimes, when I use DPNs, it just, that extra needle that you're holding while you kind of switch things around falls out of my hand, and I don't even realize it. Because I lack some feeling in my hands and fingers. And she's like, that never happens to me. My needles are like I have a really good grip on them. And I'm like, yeah, I don't even know what's in my hand half the time. So, yeah. The next project is new. You guys haven't seen it yet, unless you saw a little piece of it on Instagram, but it's in I had to switch my bag out. I had my granny stripe blanket in here, but now I needed something humongo for this project. This is a project that I wanted to start in Rhinebeck of 2016, and I bought all of the yarn for it there. I bought wool local. I think I bought 8 skeins of it. 7. Anyway, it was a lot of yarn. And we are going back to Rhinebeck this year, and we just rented our house. Super excited. I can't wait. But it made me think, I should probably knit the projects that I have in my mental queue and use the yarn that I bought from Rhinebeck last year before I go back and buy more. It just makes sense. And it's a project that I really wanted to have finished and be able to wear. So this, my friends, is the Om Shawl by Andrea Mowry. Yes, let me see if I can show you a picture. It's really big. It's kind of like a long rectangle, but you can wear it a bunch of different ways. I'll try to insert a picture just so that I can show you a few of the other photos that she has in Ravelry. Of different ways that you can wear it. But I think that my first thought when I saw this shawl on display at Wool there was, this will be a great piece to have when we go camping, because we go camping so often in the warm weather. So that was kind of my thought process on that. So I wanted sort of muted colors, woodsy colors, browns and grays, things that will look nice in nature. So I chose these colors, and I'll show you the cakes as soon as I'm done showing you the project. Actually, I haven't knit on this in a few days, but I'd like to knit on this some more tonight. I think I'll do that. But this is what I have so far. It's going to cover up my face because it's big. It's wide, I mean. My face is wide, but the project's wide too. So it's got that really subtle, detail in each of the stripes. And then eventually colors will there's a little bit of color work as I move up. But this is like a shawl all by itself, isn't it? What do you guys think? Oh, I have too much time on my hands today, you guys. All right. Let me show you the colors that I picked. Okay, so this is gray birch. This is what the label looks like if any of you are interested. You can buy right from their website. But I really liked I knew that when I went to Rhinebeck, I'm like, I can just get this online. But I was able to look at the yarn. It looks different in person, I feel like. All yarns. It's hard to represent a colorway perfectly on a computer monitor. But I was able to feel them and get a feel for what my shawl will look like with these colors. I'm sorry for the crinkling. And then Fringe Tree is the tan color. I love knitting with this yarn. This is a worsted weight, single ply, and it's very woolly. I find pieces of hay in it, which I love. Some people might not like that, but it just gives me a little reminder of where it came from, It's very heathered and beautiful. I love it. And I'm going to have to get the label out of the other bag. But this is kind of the pinky. It's getting washed out. There. That's a good representation of what it looks like. I'll get you the colorway name in just a minute. Let me just show you the purple color. This is like a deep plum. It's kind of showing blue on the screen right now. But it's a dark purple. Dove Dark Chocolate in the project bag. It's a necessity. Okay, so the purple is called Purple Loose Strife. And you guys, where did my label go for the pink one? I don't know. I'll try to insert it at the bottom of the screen because I don't know where it went and I don't want to waste your time looking. And then I'm using my Knitter's Pride Rosewood interchangeable needles, which I feel like it goes with the project beautifully because they're wood, and I wanted this to be a woodsy shawl for camping. And I really, really, really love using these. And I'm using US size 9.5. The pattern calls for a size 10, I believe. Yeah, 10.5. So I jumped down to a 9.5 because, like I said, I'm a loose knitter, and I feel like my gauge is perfect with this. So, yay! My last project is my granny stripe blanket. Some cold coffee first. Okay. I've made quite a bit of progress on this as well. Some minis were sent too from my friend Jamie. She sent me just a Happy Mail kind of Valentine's-y friendship package with some minis and candies for my boys, which was really sweet. So I don't think I got to those yet, but they're next. And right now I'm knitting minis that were in my package from my friend Emily that we did a swap. And this one, let's see. Okay. So last time I think I was right about here where the pink is or where the brown is, one of the two. But I've knit or crocheted probably like 4 rows since then. And it's a long project. So this color here is Desert Vista Dye Works in the Happy Birthday Cupcake colorway. It's a self-striping yarn, so and it's on a stellina base. Here we go. This is where I started it. So it's kind of like a brown and then a bright pink. And then a mixture of, variegated speckly goodness. Then it goes back to brown. I'm actually thinking about ordering a whole skein of this colorway for socks because I really like it. I like a lot of her colorways, actually. I believe her name is Susan, the owner. And I was thinking about joining her Does It DVD sock club, monthly sock club. Oh, all the socks, you guys. I know, you get it. Yeah, I don't know. All kinds of goodies in here. But this is super fun. And then I have, the hook I'm using, in case you don't know, is an Addy olive wood hook in a size F, 4mm. And then at our knit night, Tara of Spin Monkeys was there, and she gave me some minis because she's awesome like that. And I just wanted to say, if you haven't visited her shop, I think you should. I'm in love with her Delaware sock base. And I love the name of it too because we live close by, and Delaware was one of those roads that I basically grew up right near in Buffalo. So the Delaware sock base by Spin Monkeys, I'll put it at the bottom of the screen if I remember, but she gave me Atomic Teapot. But this base, I don't know if you can tell from the photo, but it is so natural feeling. They're not like processed. It's just a natural, it's hard to explain, but it's very squishy, and I just love it. I told her, I'm like, I just want you to know how much I love your Delaware sock base, and I'm going to send everybody to your shop because it's awesome. And then she gave me Field Mouse, which I also love. Look at that. So pretty. This would make a really pretty shawl, I think. And then Bedtime Stories. How sweet is this with the pale golds and yellows and gray. And then this is dyed naturally with avocado. Aren't those pretty? I think I'm going to have to get a whole skein of all of them. Field Mouse and Atomic Teapot, definitely. But this avocado, it's naturally dyed with avocados. So cool. And Bedtime Stories are so sweet. All right, so if you haven't visited her shop, you should. Super sweet, super sweet. I love Tara. She's great at what she does. She's such a sweet person and genuine. I don't know, just love her. So, Spin Monkeys on Etsy. All right, what do we have next, y'all? Make sure I'm not missing anything. Acquisitions. So I'm going to start with what came in the mail today. And that is Maker's Haven minis. How pretty are those? When the Sun Kisses the Sea. And there are 6 20-gram minis in here. So makershaven.com. I believe she has pre-orders up for these because they sold out quickly. I received a lovely skein of Family Secrets by Molly of a Homespun House. You guys, this is so beautiful. And she also did pre-orders for this because she said it's a tricky dye project. So she kind of dedicated a day or 2 or 3 or 4 just for this colorway. But it is so pretty. I don't know if you can see. It's almost like layered colors. They're just very beautiful and vivid. Lots of jewel tones, red, fuchsia, purple, like a burnt orange, peach, blue. I mean, really, really, really beautiful. And it's on gold stellina. Gold merino fingering, 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 5% gold stellina, 407 yards. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And then Jilly of the Knitting Broomstick podcast and I did a little swap, and she sent me one of the Starbucks Where You Are, or Where Are You, mugs from the line with Oregon, which is where she lives, and I love it. It's one of my favorite coffee mugs to drink out of. And she also sent this Gnome Acres Chai Chai colorway, which I love. It's so pretty. I've had my eye on it for a long time. And this is on the House Gnome base, 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon. And I don't know what this wants to be. I'm thinking it would make a really pretty shawl. I'll have to think about it. This one is from, Legacy Fiber Arts, Sue and Chelsea. It's my first Legacy Fiber Arts skein. I was finally able to catch one of her updates, and I'm so excited. I have so much fingering weight yarn, so I saw this skein of DK weight and I jumped on it. This is Suki DK weight, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 245 yards. And I love this color. This is going to be a hat for me. I don't know which pattern yet, but it's going to be a hat for me because I only have one hat and it's not hand knit, so I have to fix that. But it's so soft. Yay, I'm excited about that one. I ordered a Shamrock Progress Keeper from the Gnome Knitter, and she included a sweet little pink bunny for me as well. Thank you, Joanna. You guys, you should already know I'm obsessed with Progress Keepers and matching them to my project and project bag. It's fun to do. Okay, I'm almost, and then I have this is like a future project. Sorry, guys. My Shamrock Progress Keeper matched with Knit Picks. This is Green Veggies colorway. It's an older colorway, but I thought it would make fun leprechaun Irish socks for St. Patrick's Day. So I have that on my mind. And this is a little bit of what I picked out at Joann Fabrics. Deborah Norville Premier Yarns in the Serenity sock weight. And this is the Surf colorway. I think it's so pretty. And then Jason also picked this colorway out for socks for himself. Patton's Croy socks in the blue-brown marl. colorway. And then I got a skein of Deborah Norville, just plain purple. Excuse me. Yeah, it's just called purple. Just for contrasting heels and toes. I'm having microphone problems. I think it's from bending over. And then I ordered these online. I think I saw Susan B. Anderson wear on her daily knit socks on Instagram, her posts. I think she posted that she was wearing these. Regia Design Line, Arnie and Carlos. It's a special edition color 03768. And then this one is Opal 625 Winter Built. And then Susan B. Anderson also posted these, I believe. I'm getting a lot of inspiration from her. I always have, but now that I'm a sock knitter, oh yeah. Regia color 03657. I believe it's called Summer, or I can't remember, Summer Night maybe. But I got 2 of those. So that's it for stash enhancement. That's quite a lot, I think. I think I need to take a break from purchasing yarns. I wanted to share with you something special to me. A lot of people might wonder where my podcast name and Etsy shop name came from. And I think I talked about it a little bit in the beginning of the podcast, but I wanted to show you a couple of pictures that I have. So for those of you who don't know, my family, mainly my grandma, after my grandfather passed away, owned a family cottage in Fort Erie, Ontario, which is in Canada. And my grandpa passed away when I was about 3 months old, so I don't remember him. I feel like I know him, however, because my family always had pictures of him around and always talked wonderful things about him. But I did get to know my grandma because she lived until I was, I think, 15 or 16. So she lived there after, my grandfather passed away, and I was basically raised there. I had all of my birthday parties there because we had a huge swimming pool with a slide and diving board, and a lot of space for our family to get together and have spaghetti dinners on Sundays and just spend time together. So I remember my mom, my sister, and I always driving there on the weekends and in the summer almost every single day, because at the time we were in the city of Buffalo, and Fort Erie, Ontario was only about, if you don't count traffic on the Peace Bridge, it would take about 25 minutes or so to get there. There were times that we sat on the bridge, just stuck bumper to bumper for an hour and a half sometimes in the hot weather without air conditioning in the car. Anyhow, it was a huge part of my childhood and young adulthood, actually. When my grandma passed away, Canada changed their laws and you needed passports to get there. So it changed a lot of things. It was difficult for friends of the family to come. Some family couldn't come anymore because they didn't have passports. It was just not, it was just more difficult. And it was harder for family to take care of the place without my grandma there because she used to do it. So taking care of the pool and cleaning and all of that. So they ended up selling it, and I wish that I was an adult when they sold it because I would have purchased it. It's too bad now because a realtor purchased it and kind of remodeled it, and it doesn't look the same. But a lot of my childhood memories with my mom were there because we were there so often. And I was a really good swimmer because of it. And it was on Adelaide Street. So that's where Adelaide Cottage came from. I always told my husband if we ever had a daughter, I would like to incorporate the name Adelaide as well, maybe as a middle name. But we were blessed with 2 healthy, handsome little boys, so I am just fine with that. I just named my shop after it. Now, please excuse the photograph of myself that I'm about to show you, because in this picture, I will say I'm in 5th or 6th grade, which means I was 10 or 11, and my style needed some help. But I love this picture because it's just of my mom and I at my family cottage standing by the pool that I grew up in. So this is it. Check out my shorts, guys, and my tucked-in cheerleading shirt. So this was our humongo pool. It was kidney-shaped, and we had a slide here and a diving board back there, and it went to 8.5 feet deep. So it was pretty deep. So I learned how to swim to the bottom of that for, swim pool toys and then come back out. I love this picture. And then this is the view of the pool from the other side. And here I'm actually in the water. And then this is my nephew and my niece. And I believe my mom is taking the picture. But here is, we called it the garage. It used to be, my grandparents lived, let me see, I'm looking at this photo wrong, in this house that was in front of said garage. So the garage was transformed into basically a meeting place. Right beyond these screens here was rocking chairs, a couch, little tables. We used to color in coloring books. And then there was a huge kitchen where my grandma would make her spaghetti with a table. You picture a garage, maybe like a 2.5 car garage. The table went from one end to the other with benches, and we would all just sit there and have her spaghetti. And she made the best spaghetti and sauce. I thought I had a picture of, no, I guess not. So this is the back of the house. So what you can see from the garage, this was, picture the garage like right here, and then you can see the house. You go in, and this was a little kitchenette area. And then there were bedrooms in there where if we slept over, that's where we would sleep. So that was the back of the house. And then this is my grandma and grandpa. My grandma is Marion, and my grandpa is Tone. His name was Anthony, but they called him Tone because he was a musician. He played the piano very well. He has played for Frank Sinatra before, and many other well-known artists. So this is them. This is my heart. They're both deceased. Marion is where I got the name for one of my yarn bases. My Marion MCN base is because of that beautiful woman right there. That's my mom's, these are my mom's parents. I never met my dad's, I had met my dad's mom before when I was really little, but then she passed away. So yeah, I just wanted to share that with you. I hope that you enjoyed that little snippet of a very important piece of me that really means a lot to me. So that's all I have. I think actually what I'm going to do tonight, I'm going to do all the things tonight I mentioned because everybody's gone. I'm going to watch the video on how to use my serger because I bought a serger in November or December, and I still haven't watched the video on how to thread it and use it. I know how to use a serger, I just don't know how to thread it, so I have to learn. But as far as a shop update, I had an update last evening, so there's still some things in the shop, lots of, I shouldn't say lots of, there are some Anne of Green Gables inspired colorways back in the shop. There are a couple bases that I was trying out for the shop that won't be sticking around in there. It's not because they're terrible bases or anything, but I just like different ones better. So just make sure you read the description before you purchase to see those bases I discounted. So that's that. I'm thinking I'm going to have project bags as well as yarn in the next update, which is to be determined, usually a week or two. And yeah, I hope you guys all have a lovely rest of your week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.